Today I'm going to break down a video clip of historian David Starkey and I'm going to debunk his ahistorical lies, his hatred and his racism. So let's get straight into the video.
The Britain I grew up in was the most peaceful, the most gentle, homogeneous society that has ever existed. Why we did not need identity cards, why there are extraordinarily low levels of crime.
Okay, so Starkey's narrativizing the past here. He's saying in the past, when we were more peaceful, more gentle, there was ethnic homogeneity. And he's making that link, as in, like, it's inevitable that homogeneity of ethnicity creates peace, a better time. Whereas actually, we look at the crime data, and actually, in the last 30 years, we've seen a steady decline of crime, violent crime, burglary, car theft. And actually, there's various reasons for this, but a big one is actually taking lead out of petrol, out of paint. That was a massive one. And we are in a time of unprecedented peace. Although there's wars going on and it seems like with constant news, there's always something negative going on, crime, violence. Actually, we are seeing that steady decline. So actually, this dishonest link is not there.
Such high levels of public trust. That has been destroyed. It has been deliberately destroyed by Tony Blair and New Labour with this absurd notion that they were going to force us to become multi-ethnic for our good. They were going to rub the noses of the whites in the dirt.
Okay, so this is where he goes mask off. Rub the noses of the whites in the dirt. So he's saying here that by having multiculturalism, by ethnic diversity, by different people coming into the country from different regions, ethnicities, countries, religions, that somehow there's always going to be that ethnic tension that's inevitable. We just can't get along. They're just different. We have different values. There's always going to be that antagonism. But there's nothing inevitable about this. There's a real question we have to ask ourselves in this debate, and it's, do we enable the political tendency of tribalism? And I don't think we should, because we don't with violence. We are a very violent species. We're very intelligent apes. We are very violent species. Do we politically enable that? No, we don't. We see that as a negative thing. Also, we are historically a very violent species in relation to sexual assault. Should we politically enable that instinct? No, we shouldn't. So why enable a tribal instinct in our culture? Because it doesn't lead to good outcomes. It just doesn't. By dividing people in that ethnicity, race, culture, religion, it never produces positive outcomes. Actually, multiculturalism is the answer here. So if you look at the data, to fight racism, to fight ethnic divides, it's actually exposure that dissipates these tension. So, for example, when you go to a diverse city like London or somewhere like Leicester, there's less ethnic division and racism because people are exposed to it. So when you have a Muslim neighbor, you see him for what he is. He's a good guy. When you have a black milkman, you see the person, you don't see the race. So actually the answer to ethnic divisions and disparities is actually more exposure, because you go to the Rust Belt in America, they don't have that exposure. You go to places like Clacton-on-Sea or Great Yarmouth, when they don't have that ethnic diversity, that's when we have the problems. So by seeing your neighbor as just an individual and not being caught up in the lies and the spin of the right wing media that want you to be angry about immigration, they want you to be upset with diversity. And this is dividing. This is what is dividing us. The powers that be, the mainstream media really want you to be angry about immigration, because when you are, you don't look at the people who are actually creating the wealth and stealing the wealth and who've got all the money. It's very easy to blame immigrants for all your social and economic problems. Very convenient. And historically, it doesn't end well. It never ends well. And you look at ethnically homogenous countries like Belarus, Russia, Japan, these are hotbeds of tensions. The idea that if you have an ethnically homogeneous society that you dissipate tensions, no, they will always find disparities and antagonisms, no matter how pure and ethnically homogenous a country is. So, comment below, how do we fight ethnic tensions, this disparity and impulse to enable tribalism? How do we fight this? How do we say to people, actually, we shouldn't be enabling our more primal and venal selves? Comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.